is missing after a night out at the other dorm. It's time to start caring. Welcome to Talking News. I do it just to make sure that we can get their face out there as many times as we can. Kelsey Bear's body was never found. The community is still working together to try to locate Sarah Galloway. Good job, Tree. The parent of the missing daughter was sleeping in his car.
Hi guys, welcome to the Talking News. Glad to have you guys here. And also guys, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and also hit that notification bell. I have some new information for you guys. It's nothing major, but it's enough to give you an idea of why Michael Jones Jr. might have killed his wife. So Jackson 4 News has shared a story. It's not a huge story, but it does give you a look inside of why Michael Jones Jr. might have killed his wife and his children. Well, at least his wife. So Jax 4 is saying that they have gotten the affidavit, and on that affidavit it has some clues as to what happened to Casei Jones the day she went missing. If you are not familiar with this story, guys, please refer to my older ones, but I'm going to try to put a little bit in this one. I'm just not going to cover all the details I covered earlier. So it was during the time that Hurricane Doreen was hitting the Bahamas and heading towards Florida. Sarah Jones, which is Michael Jones Jr.'s, what we're hearing, ex-wife. She is the ex-wife of Michael, and in fact used to work in a veterinary clinic with Sarah and Casei Jones, all three of them. So Sarah Jones and Michael Jones had already had children together. They had been what they said was a happy marriage, but there were a few problems, like Michael liked to drink a lot. So there was, cops had been called out a few times, especially at the end of their relationship. But what brought their relationship to an end? Well, it seems, according to the people who run the veterinarian clinic that Sarah, Michael, and Casey worked at, Michael began to lie. He lied several times about his mother and a few other things that I don't have in front of me right now, telling his employer that his mother had died, that she had froze to death in a ditch. They called Michael's mother to check and see if that was the case, and they find out that Michael's mother hadn't died. So why was Michael lying? Michael was lying because he was having an affair with a young blonde named Casei Jones. And later on, Mike left Sarah Jones, then he actually married Casei Jones. Casei Jones got pregnant with their first child, and then their second child. They were married on Halloween of 2017. Now, according to what I'm hearing right now, I don't have all the facts right now, guys, and I'll let you know whenever I'm speculating as well, because I will throw a few of those in here. But Michael was in the Navy for a short period, is what we're hearing. And from there, he just did like odd jobs and was jumping job to job. Casei Jones was completely in love with Michael Jones. She just thought he was the best thing since bubblegum. And this is evident if you go to her YouTube page and you watch the videos that seems like hundreds of videos. I'm not sure how many, but it's a lot of videos that she loaded of her family on her YouTube page. Of course, I want to share this one with you. This is the father of Preston and Cameron. And this is when Casey is in a hospital having her beautiful children.
Hello. Today's date is September 11th, 2009, and we're here at South Bend Memorial Hospital. And Casey is going to have a baby. That's right. Turn the camera on so everybody can see it. Smile. Yay. It is. Oh, 10.
Hit me fast. I feel goofy.
Look at it. He's like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, right,
I know, look at him. I know. He was born September 12th at 1:06 p.m. year 2009. He's such a cutie. Oh, look at him.
You're hungry, huh? I bet you
Hi,
hungry.
baby.
They're just absolutely adorable, and her mother's love absolutely shines through all the dark when you watch the videos. But anyways, you can see that, you know, at one time she was with a man that appeared to really love the kids, but what we're hearing is he was not really around that much after they split. But before I lose my place, so Casei Jones actually was out of the picture for many years, at least 3 years, 2 or 3 years, which is the ex of Michael Jones. But one day, and I don't have the date for you right now, which wasn't that long ago, she posted on her Facebook page that she was coming back from Vermont to Florida to be closer to Mike. She says so that Mike could be closer to the children, but really Mike hadn't even been around the children for years. Sarah said in an interview, in fact, she was alone for at least 2 or 3 years. So Casei Jones moves back to Jacksonville, Florida, from Vermont, and things began to go a little haywire for the Jones family, including Casey. Casey posts a few things on Facebook that kind of give you a hint that something isn't so right. I believe Casey does get suspicious about Sarah's returning to Florida. Nevertheless, you know, Casey's demeanor kind of changes, is what I'm hearing from some witnesses. She kind of gets kind of down. So, Hurricane Dorian is approaching, and all of a sudden, what seemed like a happy family between Michael Jr. and Casey suddenly just disappears. On an interview, Casei Jones admits that she had never been through a hurricane, and that Michael Jones Jr. shows up to her apartment supposedly to spend time with the children, but she admits that she feels this sense of relief, that when he was there with her, she felt so much better because she had been alone for so long. Meanwhile, social media is completely dead. Nobody hears from Casei Jones or the children. Now, I'm not going to be able to do it word for word, but you are more than welcome to go check out the interview Jax4 has on the Casei Jones interview. But basically, she admits that Michael Jones was at her place for at least, she says, at least 2 weeks. The family had been missing, in fact, for at least 6 weeks. Now, we do not have exact dates right now, but neighbors are saying that they did see a U-Haul at the Summerfield mobile home that they lived in. This is during the period of time that she went missing. But nobody really realized that she was missing at that time. And so many people are questioning, how could they not know that their loved ones are missing, especially in a 6-week period? Well, in today's times, as you know, we don't have time to stay in contact with our family members constantly like we used to be able to do. And anyone with older kids realize once your kids get married, they're so busy with their own life that it's almost nearly impossible to find time to spend time with your loved ones that are outside of your immediate family. But I can tell you right now that this family loved each other and they spent much time with each other. And I have videos that I'm going to share with you right now to show you how they had great times together when they had time. Nikki Jones, which is, if I can talk today again, Casei Jones' mother. You know, she tried to raise her kids correctly, and they did it, you know, in a Christian way. They listened to Christian music. They seemed like a pretty close family. But sometimes life gets busy. Casei Jones' sister, Miss Gilbert, says, you know, they really realized something was wrong when Casey didn't post happy birthday to her son, just to cut it down short. Even though they sensed something was wrong, they really didn't understand how serious it would have been.
Happy birthday to you, and many more.
Many more.
The family put out a missing persons report, and the very next day, they would find out information that would forever change their life in a horrific way. Michael Jones Jr. was spotted in Georgia. His van was in a ditch, and witnesses say that he was acting strange. They also say that there was beer cans pouring out of the passenger side of the vehicle. As they approached closer to the vehicle, witnesses say that they smelled a very foul odor, and one witness said that it smelled like a dead body. Michael Jones had just left Sarah Jones' house. Detectives were calling Sarah Jones, asking her questions, asking her if she had seen Casei Jones or any of the children. She said that Michael said that he would take care of it, and she didn't know that he, you know, was driving to Georgia. She didn't have a clue that there was any deceased bodies in the van that had been sitting at her apartment for what she said weeks. But she mentions in an interview that she asked her son if he smelt anything odd. She says her son was told by Michael that there was a dead cat. He thought there was a dead cat that died in his car. Police arrived to the Georgia scene, and Michael tells them, said, look, you might want to handcuff me because my wife's body is in the vehicle. Michael then tells the police that his kids are also no longer here, and he takes them to the site in which he laid them to rest or dumped them, depending on, you know, what we find out later. Most people agree that they were dumped out there like garbage. But weeks and weeks have gone by, and we have no idea what the motive is. We suspect a few things, which we'll talk about later on in the video, but we have no idea. See, Michael told the authorities. He told them how he killed them. He told them where he laid their bodies, but he didn't tell them why. But now we have new information coming out, updated information from News Jax that is saying there might be a little bit of a motive, and the weapon was a bat. So let's go over that real quick. Let me pull up their article. I'm going to read some of it for you. So, according to the affidavit, Michael Jones admitted to killing Casei Jones July 10th during an argument at their home on Southeast 86th Terrace in Marion County. So those dates are going back way further. So according to Nikki Jones, which is the mother of Casei Jones, this is my daughter and my 4 grandkids. They are missing, and I have not seen them in almost 2 months. If you see them, please contact Marion County, Florida Police. So there you go. So she has been deceased way longer than what we're being told. So according to Jack's News, they're saying that the sheriff's office said Michael Jones told deputies that Casei Jones retrieved a baseball bat during the argument. Michael Jones, deputies said, told investigators that he took the bat and repeatedly struck Casei Jones, killing her. And exactly 2 months later, September 14th, the affidavit states that the deputy was sent out to Southeast 86 Terrace after a neighbor reported Casei Jones and her 4 children were missing. So according to this affidavit, they're not even mentioning the family. So the property owner allowed the deputy into the home, who noted the foul odor of decomposition. So I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of this for you. So during the search of the home, the affidavit said a deputy was notified that Michael Jones had been detained after a crash in southeast Georgia. Deputy said his wife's body was found in the vehicle, and the bodies of the children were found along a wooded road, which was 301 in Georgia. The article continues, Michael Jones was charged with second-degree murder, but has not been charged with the deaths of the children. Autopsies of the victims are still being conducted in Georgia. This is where I start to wonder how much Mike's ex, Sarah Jones, knows, because July 10th, Casey's gone. But they're not mentioning the children. And I think that's because it's going to be such a devastating story. I think what you're going to... my speculation is this, that I think he probably got her and then the 2 boys. The daughters were okay for a bit, and then later the daughters. That's what I'm thinking. You know, when you read these stories, you're trying to put together the story. And you wonder, once that information comes through, you compare that and see, you know, how well you were able to figure it out. But I remember Sarah Jones speaking about the girls coming for a visit. And when I went to search for the information I found on that, I couldn't find it again. Sarah Jones' interview with Jex was kind of, and to me, it looked like she was on trial. But nobody was really asking her questions. Everything that she was talking about, it's like she had went over this over and over in her head. She had it all planned how to defend herself. I have to tell you guys, I went over and over this interview, and not once did I see her have any really big concerns for Casei and her children. It was more about defending herself, her children, and how lucky she was, and how she didn't see it. And in case you don't realize, guys, her, Sarah, Casei, and Mike all worked in the same place. Mike was with Sarah, had children with Sarah, left Sarah, went to Casei, and they had 2 children together. Casei had 2 children from her previous relationship. She claims that Michael had told her that Casei and him were getting a divorce. But I believe that she knew that was not happening. I think she was actively trying to steal Michael back from Casei. She knew there was chaos going on. She mentions that, let me see here. She says, it's no complete secret that there has been times in the past that she would just disappear for a while. So she's referring to Casei. Now, I've not heard that from Casey's family, and I haven't heard that anywhere, actually, but from her. So that statement being thrown in there was kind of like a way to defend herself. Like I said, it seems like she's thought this out in her head, and she has gone over it, over it, and over it. She has it in organized order. She knows exactly what she wants you to know. Especially since the last time that she was in the van, she states in this interview, was back in July. And she doesn't give us a date. She gives us dates for a lot of other things and ideas of other things, but she doesn't know the exact date that she's in this van. But we do find out today that Casei was last alive July 10th. And that's where I was trying to figure out, and I just don't have any more time today to keep researching. She mentions that, he had her, I swore that's what she did. I'm not positive, but I swore I heard her say that he had brought the girls at one point. I could be wrong, because I do a lot of research. There's a lot of cases. But yeah, I'm very concerned about the fact that she mentions that she is in his van in July. They're at the beach. I guess they're going to the beach. Now, according to her, we know that she moved to Jacksonville to be closer to Mike. She tries to make it look like that she didn't have those intentions, that she had these intentions just to have the kids in his life. But he's living there with her. And she says many times, especially during a hurricane, that it feels nice. She's relieved that he is there. Then she makes sure that she says, well, it's nice for the kids, basically. So when all the truth comes out on this story, I think it's going to be very interesting. I don't believe anything this woman says, not a word. Of course, this is the part where I'm talking about the story. This is not facts. This is how I feel, and a lot of other people feel the same way. Now, she says that despite what he did to her in their marriage, she never really thought, she thought he was just a great dad. She always thought he was a great dad. Then again, she mentions that he has a drinking problem, and, he has had a background running into the law. So I guess, I don't know how she sees that's a great father. I guess she sees it in a different light than we do. Because I thought she mentioned that really he hasn't been in their life. And especially, she's been alone for 2 to 3 years. So I'm I find some of her stuff kind of contradicting of itself, and compared to what she says later on. She says as the detectives start to call her, she's kind of brushing them off. She's not saying that, but you can tell that's what's going on. And she's like talking to Michael about it and refusing to really talk to detectives. So she's kind of probably giving Michael a hard time, saying, what the hell is going on here? Am I having to deal with more trouble from Casei? She speaks about at the end of their marriage, they had to deal with law several times. So maybe did that have to do with Casei? We don't know, but I'm sure we'll find out. But several sources have said that this woman isn't the most pleasant woman to be around. In fact, she can be quite hateful. But that's not the woman we're seeing in this interview. At one point, she says the detectives come by to talk to her later in the afternoon. She says it's at that point she's kind of coming to reality. But at the same time, she says she told the detective that Mike could never have done anything like that. Anyways, at some point, Mike tells her, I'm going to take care of it. That really gets to me, the it part. I'm going to go take care of it and talk to the police. But I'm just mostly curious as to How in the world she had no clue? Especially, she's already admitted that the best thing that Mike does, and everybody seems to agree with this, is he's a liar and a manipulator. But she didn't know. Mike has been arrested. But she didn't know. Mike cheated on her with another woman, but she didn't know. Police are calling her saying something's wrong, but she just don't know. And then they finally tell her, say, look, the kids and Casey's missing, but she still doesn't know. How many clues can one person get? I mean, is it just me? Maybe I'm not in those shoes like she said. What do you guys think? I really feel like she should have known. It just seems to me a lot of these cases lately, these women are kind of riding it out until it gets too heated. And then when it gets heated, they start to talk. I mean, I've seen it with the Chris Waltz case, with the mistress in that one. I've seen it with Casei Berreth. They're not talking. And in fact, in the Casei Berreth case, the nurse knew way ahead of time. She said, I knew he was planning this. In fact, I was part of it, but I didn't know. And they get away with it. Now, guys, I love women, you know that. But I do not love liars. I don't care if they're men, women, children, it doesn't matter. They're playing victim and they're getting away with it. I really think that we need to start setting an example with somebody here, because it's only getting worse. Women against women over relationships. Come on, guys. Anyways, as you can tell, this is not a news coverage. This is more of the talking news. So where we can talk about it. Tell me how you feel. You know, let me know how you feel about it right now, because right now we really don't have much information. And as far as the part where we're talking about the argument on July 10th, as what do you think he's going for with that? Well, this is why I don't believe Sarah, because she's helping him set up for the self-defense. But guess what, guys? It's not going to work, because you got 4 children that are also gone. Sorry. I just know those police. Just know there's going to be justice in this case. I believe that county is going to see to it that Casey and her 4 children get every bit of justice they can. Because no matter how they try to set it up, you notice she didn't talk until a certain point, and it's probably after she got her information. And then now you can see why he didn't mention a motive. I think he's going to still try to fight it. You know, that's my idea. That's how I feel. But I'll be glad when we do find out some facts. You know, we see the facts, more facts. And I'll be glad when the autopsy and everything is finished and complete, especially for the children. And then those charges come rolling in. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and move on here, because it's right at 30 minutes and I can't do but so much on my phone. But I want to send blessings out to Casey's family. I hope you guys are doing okay, and I hope that GoFundMe is doing well. And I hope you get all the help you can get. Anyways, guys, I will do another video on this, but I just don't know when. And anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.